I've always been fascinated by the turning points of history, and few are as significant as the Battle of Guadalcanal. From August 7, 1942 to February 9, 1943, this remote island in the South Pacific became the stage for one of the most crucial campaigns of World War II. It was here that the seemingly unstoppable Japanese expansion was finally halted, and the tide of war in the Pacific began to turn. In the summer of 1942, I found myself immersed in research about a world gripped by the largest conflict in human history. While Europe burned under the Nazi regime, another equally fierce battle raged across the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean. The Japanese Empire, emboldened by its early victories, sought to extend its reach further south, threatening Australia and the vital supply lines between America and its allies. The Solomon Islands, a chain of tropical islands northeast of Australia, became the focal point of this struggle. As I delved deeper into the history of Guadalcanal, I was struck by how such an unassuming island could play such a pivotal role. With its dense jungles and sweltering heat, it might have seemed an unlikely place for a decisive battle, but its importance lay not in its terrain, but in its potential. The Japanese had begun constructing an airfield on the island, which, if completed, would threaten Allied shipping lanes to Australia and New Zealand. For the Allies, denying this airfield to the Japanese became paramount. Control of Guadalcanal would not only protect their supply lines, but also provide a base from which to launch future offensives. On August 7, 1942, I can almost hear the tranquility of Guadalcanal being shattered. Operation Watchtower, the Allied plan to seize the island, began with a thunderous naval bombardment. As shells rained down on Japanese positions, U.S. Marines stormed the beaches. The element of surprise was total. The Japanese, confident in their island fortress, were caught off guard. The initial landings on Guadalcanal, Tulagi, and Florida Islands were a success. The Marines quickly secured the unfinished airfield, which would soon become a thorn in the side of Japanese operations. But this was just the beginning. The Japanese, reeling from the shock of the invasion, were already planning their counterattack. What challenges would the Allied forces face in the coming days? The capture of Henderson Field was a strategic masterstroke. Allies worked tirelessly to expand the airfield under constant threat. Henderson Field allowed Allied aircraft to dominate the skies, providing crucial air support and intercepting Japanese reinforcements. The battle for control of this airfield would rage on for months, with both sides recognizing its pivotal role in the campaign. The waters around the Solomon Islands became the arena for intense naval engagements. The Battle of Savo Island on August 9, 1942, was a stark wake-up call, with the Japanese Navy inflicting a crushing defeat. But the Allies quickly learned. The Battle of the Eastern Solomons saw improved Allied performance, turning back a Japanese attempt to land reinforcements. The light carrier Ryujo was sunk, underscoring the critical importance of controlling the seas around Guadalcanal. On the ground, the resilience of the U.S. Marines was remarkable. They faced a determined and entrenched enemy in an alien and hostile environment. Their defense of Henderson Field became legendary. Time and again, they repulsed Japanese attacks, often in close-quarters combat. Their tenacity was epitomized in engagements like the Battle of the Tanaru, where they annihilated an entire Japanese assault force. Their heroism and sacrifice laid the foundation for eventual victory. The battle for Guadalcanal was not just a test of military might, but also a battle against nature itself. Tropical diseases like malaria ravaged both armies, often incapacitating more men than enemy fire. The terrain was treacherous, with hidden ravines and thick undergrowth making movement difficult and providing ample opportunities for ambush. Both sides struggled to keep their men supplied. How did these environmental factors shape the tactics and strategies employed by both sides? In September 1942, Japanese forces launched a major offensive to recapture Henderson Field. For 2 nights, Edson's men held off wave after wave of Japanese attacks in fierce, often hand-to-hand combat. The Marines' stubborn defense, despite being vastly outnumbered, broke the back of the Japanese offensive. This action, dubbed the Battle of Bloody Ridge, was a turning point in the Guadalcanal campaign. November 1942 saw one of the most decisive engagements, the Naval Battle of Guadalcanal, fought over several days from November 12, 15. The battle was chaotic and costly, with ships engaging at point-blank range in the confined waters around the island. In a fierce night action, the Washington sank the Kirishima, marking the first time an American battleship had sunk an enemy battleship. This victory effectively ended major Japanese naval operations around Guadalcanal. Both sides faced a critical challenge, keeping their forces supplied on the isolated island. For the Allies, the solution came in the form of the Tokyo Express, high-speed supply runs by destroyers. These dangerous missions were vital in keeping Henderson Field operational and the Marines supplied. By December 1942, the Japanese began a series of desperate evacuation attempts. The strategic situation had shifted decisively in favor of the Allies. The Japanese forces on the island, steadily weakening from starvation and disease, realized that the campaign was lost. On February 9, 1943, Guadalcanal was officially declared secure. The cost had been high, thousands of lives on both sides, numerous ships sunk, and aircraft destroyed. But the strategic gains were immense. The Allies had not only halted Japanese expansion, but had also gained valuable experience in amphibious and jungle warfare. The success at Guadalcanal set the stage for a series of Allied offensives across the Pacific. The strategy of island hopping, refined during the Guadalcanal campaign, would be employed with increasing effectiveness. The Gilbert and Marshall Islands fell to Allied forces in late 1943 and early 1944, followed by the Mariana and Palau Islands in mid-1944. As I reflect on the Battle of Guadalcanal, I'm struck by its indelible mark on military history. It demonstrated the importance of joint operations, the critical role of logistics in modern warfare, and the value of air power in supporting ground and naval forces. But perhaps its greatest legacy lies in the courage and determination displayed by those who fought there. As we conclude our journey through the Battle of Guadalcanal, I'm reminded of the immense sacrifices made by both sides in this pivotal campaign. The island's name has become synonymous with courage, endurance, and the turning of the tide in the Pacific War. The echoes of those 6 months of brutal combat in 1942 to 43 continue to resonate today, a testament to the men who fought and died in the jungles and waters of this once obscure island. Guadalcanal stands as a powerful reminder of the cost of war and the price of victory.